So, I know the next episode for Destiny 2 is right around the corner, but I still wanted to share this awesome build for the Warlock class. I've been fairly quiet around this build specifically because I've just been very busy, but it is centered around the exotic chest piece tied to Revenant for the Warlock class, the rime-coat raiment. This exotic enhances stasis, specifically the Bleak Watcher aspect. It is really, really good, and so good that I, again, had to make a build video around it. Now, for those of you wondering, is this build going to be even worth it when Heresy drops? The answer is yes. While we don't have any confirmations as of now about the seasonal artifact, this will still enhance stasis in a great way, where if you need the stasis aspects of it, whether it's Prismatic or a stasis class, this will be a solid build. Therefore, in the dim link in the description for this build you can pull, or in the pinned comment, we will not be covering or adding in any seasonal mods to that dim link. So if you guys are pulling this now, you could save it for later, check it out now, whatever it may be. Or if you're watching at the Heresy drops, it is a really, really solid build. So before we jump into the video, just want to get something out the way. If you guys enjoy the content and want more from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified when I do drop more content. We got a lot of stuff planned, and you certainly don't want to miss it, especially with Heresy around the corner. Now, with that out the way, let's dive into this build. So, the main exotic, like I mentioned before, will be the rime-coat raiment. It's new to Revenant and requires you to reset Rahu at least once in order to unlock it for the first time. At this point, since Revenant has already ended, hopefully you already did, depending on if you've taken a break or been playing, whatever it may be, you're going to need to reset them at least once. And then the second page, you can focus it for the first time. You just need an exotic engram. Now, I hate this system for exotics and Rahul, but whatever. It's not the topic of this video. Let's move on. Now, the main juice of this exotic will be the Bleak Domain perk. Specifically, it reads like this. Your Bleak Watcher turrets are enhanced with extended range and are surrounded by stasis crystals and a storm. While standing in the storm, you are granted icicles over time. Icicles activate when you fire your weapons, applying slow to targets they hit. This is a powerful perk no matter the content. That slow verbiage is great for Grandmasters, Masters, your simple Vanguard strikes. It is awesome. And most importantly, from at least what I can tell, isn't tied to a energy type weapon. It could be an arc weapon, it could be a strand weapon, it could even be a stasis weapon. It will still get the same benefits, basically making that weapon a semi knockoff Wicked Implement if you guys really like that exotic scout rifle. Now, since we got the exotic chest piece out the way, I think it's a good time to jump in game and then talk about the build, everything going on there, and things like that. So here on screen is going to be the drip for this build. Let me know your thoughts down below. Really, the only thing here is going to be the chest piece, maybe the arms and the helmet you could really work with. Legs, not so much, but I'm learning the ways of the Warlock drip. Nothing to brag here, honestly, in my opinion. So, the subclass. We're using Prismatic. You may have been led on to believe I was going to use Stasis. You can do that, but to get the most out of here, especially something outside of this sandbox of Revenant, we're going to be using the Nova Bomb for Prismatic. I don't really know the differences in my Nova Bombs. This is fine. This is not really based on my DPS. I know a lot of people love Song of Flame. The main reason we're going for this is going to be that Void Overshield. Yes, you can use Song of Flame. Yes, you can switch it up maybe with some other stuff, but we really, really love the Overshield. At least I do here, so that's why we're going for the Void Super here. Abilities, we have Phoenix Dive. Again, gives us Cure. I like this a little bit more than a Healing Rift in personal situations, but again, if you guys want to slot in a Healing Rift, be my guest. We're using a Burst Glide, still learning the ways of parkour as a Warlock. Every now and then, you could just float to your death. It's pretty funny, actually. Incendiary Snap is going to be our melee of choice. I love this, and again, one of the great things about using Prismatic for this exotic. Threadling Grenade will be my personal one here. It's strand-based, darkness-based. Could use other grenades, but based on what you want to do here will depend on whether or not you can do it. Threadling Grenade, you're going to be consuming this anyway, don't worry. You won't be throwing much of that. So our aspects, the first one, Feed the Void. This pretty much gives you Devour when you defeat a target with any ability. Devour is incredible. I've always stated this in every build video. Devour is one of the best verbiages in Destiny 2. Gives you additional health, gives you grenade energy, and it pairs great with something like Bleak Watcher. When you consume your grenade, so you hold and convert your grenade into a stasis turret that fires slow projectiles at nearby targets. And this slow is great for overloads if you guys are taking this where those champions are present. Fragments, Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. Facet of Balance, rapidly defeating targets with light damage grants melee energy. grappling defeating targets with darkness damage, grants grenade energy. Really goes for what you're going here with stasis and arc grenades. Really good fragment here. Facet of Purpose is going to be where you get your orb of power and you pick it up. It'll give you a void overshield in the case since we're using a void super. If you guys slot Song of Flame here, you would get restoration when picking up orb of power. This is really good for conquering or getting those class verbiages with your subclass and things like that. Next to that, we have Facet of Devotion. Defeating targets afflicted with stasis or strand debuffs grants bonus light transcendence energy here. We're doing so much darkness and stasis stuff that this is really good and honestly kind of really fun. If you want to slot this with the Radiant fragment, be my guest, but I don't think that is very needed here. And then when it comes to our last one, we have Facet of Courage. Your arc, solar, and void abilities deal increased damage to targets afflicted with stasis debuffs. Depending on what you're doing, depending on what you're using, you're going to be affecting a lot of things with the stasis debuffs from the Bleak Watcher turret. It is really good on that end. When it comes to our loadout, we didn't mention this in the beginning. We're using Ager Scepter. This is just an incredible exotic forever now. It's a trace rifle special, and I believe when it comes to Heresy, we have the sandbox stuff coming out today, or it came out already. We're going to be getting, I believe, a 20% buff to miners. So this is a trace rifle. This is getting a buff damage wise in Heresy, and this is already incredible as is. So Ager Scepter is going to be even better now, which is wild to say. If you guys don't want to use that, you can use the grenade launcher from this episode instead, but I really urge you guys to use Ager Scepter. Next to that, in our energy slot, we're using Noctis Veveteer. It's an arc weapon. Jolting feedback is great in general. Loose change helps with the reload when you get anything debuffed. This could be the jolt from jolting feedback. It can also be the slow from your stasis turret. So if you have something with loose change, it could be a great substitute if you don't want to have Noctis Veveteer here. So just keep that in mind if you want to change it up yourself. And then Chill Inhibitor, Stasis, Envious Arsenal, Bait and Switch, one of the best DPSs in the game. Kind of hard not to use right now, especially in most content. For our armor mods, we are using a Stasis Siphon and one hands-on. If you guys do want to slot in a Harmonic Siphon for maybe a void weapon you're using, be my guest. But besides that, it's pretty much all we can do there. For our arms, we have Font of Vigor and Heavy-Handed. Our Rime-Coat will have 2 stasis reserves and a sniper damage resistance. For our legs, we have Invigoration, Innervation, and a Weapon Surge. In the case of what we're doing here with our loadout, we have a Stasis Weapon Surge. If you guys need to change that for something else, be my guest. Very flexible there. And then for our Warlock Bond, we have Time Dilation, Special Finisher, and Font of Restoration. When it comes to our stats, ideally, you guys want to max out on Resilience and Discipline since we're going to be using a lot of grenades. Next up to that could either be Intellect and Strength. Depends on what you want for. And if you are struggling to survive and want things to be a little bit better, forget the strength, forget the intellect, maybe even forget some of that discipline, focus in a little bit on recovery, help you out a little bit there, but again, not too much will be buffed in my opinion. But yeah, that's pretty much the build. We would talk about the seasonal artifact, but I'm trying to keep this Heresy proof because Revenant is ending very soon. So with that being said, let's jump out of here and give you guys my closing thoughts. So, friendly reminder, if you want to pull this build for yourself, instead of copying everything you see here on screen or saw in the video, the dim link will be posted in the description and in the pinned comment. Just pull it, save yourself some time. But in all, this is a really solid build in all forms of content. Really happy that I finally decided to use something else besides Felwinter's Helm. But annotation here on screen if you want to see Felwinter's Helm being absolutely dominant for the Warlock class. Still one of my favorite exotics in all of Destiny 2. But yeah, really good stuff here. Really happy with this one. I am glad I've been playing a lot more Warlock this episode than I usually would. I'm still a Titan main at heart, and that will never change because Titans till the very end. I love that class no matter how awful we can be sometimes, but some of the changes really even things out. But back onto the Warlock stuff. Really loving this build here, and I hope you guys do too. If you guys want to support the video and help out the channel, dropping a like is honestly enough, as well as your viewership. But dropping this video a like helps out the video a ton and is greatly appreciated. If you guys want more content from me, be sure to hit that subscribe button and bell to be notified when I do drop more content. And as usual, thank you guys for watching. That's all I gotta say on this one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.